Hey everybody, and welcome to American Werewolves, where we talk about all things horror. I am Brandon,
I'm Jerry.
and we're back with another episode of Horror News Round, where we talk about all the latest horror news up in the internet. We got a couple of good ones, and we're going to try to talk about them relatively quickly, get our thoughts out the way on them. And now, the first bit of news that I want to talk about today, which I think is probably the biggest today, is about the Child's Play remake. The film studio just launched an official viral website revolving around the Buddy doll, which is spelled Buddi this time around. But they say, don't fear, he's still called Chucky. And this website is essentially just going over like all the different aspects of this Buddy doll and showing exactly how advanced this is. And it's also hinting at what we might be seeing in the upcoming remake coming out June 21st, 2019. Have you had a chance to check out this website yet, Jay?
I haven't. I will check it out later, but I have not had a chance to see it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the designs that they got going on, like the cartoonish design for Chucky. It's still very reminiscent to how he looked in the original, except now, like I said, there's that I at the end with a big Wi-Fi symbol. And it's just talking about all his functions, like how he can talk both English and Spanish, and also at a specific language set by the company, the fake company in the movie.
If he doesn't speak Spanish in this movie, I'm going to be really upset.
I hope he speaks Spanish. That would be hilarious.
If they don't pull a Buzz Lightyear, like Toy Story 3 thing, I'm going to be really upset.
That has to happen. Filmmakers, if you're listening to this, you need to go ahead and like dub that little bit in or something. Or you're not getting our money.
They're doing this really early.
They're really pushing this movie out there. Like, I don't know if it just feels like that or if it didn't work, but it feels like they just announced it not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, the more information I find on this movie, the more excited I am to see how it turns out and what's exactly it's going to be about.
Yeah. I still think it was kind of unnecessary that they changed the name. Like, I feel like the only reason they changed it to Buddy doll was so that they could use the I for the Wi-Fi symbol.
Yeah, and they also wanted to, I think it also had to do with the situation with the rights to the good guy dolls from the original, because MGM only owns the rights to the original film. They don't own the rights to the other sequels that came out. That's all belonging to Universal and the original creator, Don Mancini. Yeah. So the only way they could really get away with this one is by changing a few things around. They can still use the same basic plot that the original film made. They just can't use anything from the sequels that came after. But yeah, it's pretty crazy how advanced this is. It even says you can actually control Chucky with your cell phone and your computer and tablet. So I'm kind of curious how they're going to incorporate that in the film. Hopefully it's not too technologically savvy, if you know what I mean. You know, imagine like someone taking over like your iPhone and they're just like, you know, going around and like slashing people with Chucky. You know what I mean? Just stuff like that. I hope they because I know the original films are campy, and it seems like this one will probably try to go for the same thing, but we'll see. There's really not much we can say about it right now because we still have very little information about what's going on in this new film.
Right.
Well, after that note, we're going to be moving on to our next big story that officially dropped today, and that is revolving around the Hellboy reboot. It's coming out April 12th, 2019, and director Neil Marsh has just released an image showing David Harbour from Stranger Things in full Hellboy getup, and he looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, he looks really good. Also, like, props to him for getting, like, you know, into that shape. One of my, like, you know, for those of you who don't know, I'm super huge into fitness and going to the gym. I go 5 to 6 times a week. His trainer, Don Saladino, dude, doing an awesome job. He trains Ryan Reynolds. He trains Sebastian Stan, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson. He's a celebrity trainer, so he helped David Harbour out with that. It's freaking incredible.
Yeah, no, he really did bulk up for this role. He still kind of looks like he has like that dad bod going on, but he still also looks like he'll just fuck you up.
I was reading into that. That was what they wanted for it. They wanted him to have like that thick, you know, like I guess dad bod look, but like a muscular dad bod.
Right. Yeah. And I
Yeah, they
think that
didn't want him to slim down.
yeah, no, it's definitely because Hellboy. He's not a slim dude. He definitely is like that perfect, like that shape that David Harbour's got going on right now. It matches the comic counterpart perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, this film is directed by Neil Marsh. The only other film I know, or Neil Marshall, the only other film I know he has done is The Descent, which came out, I think, 2006, 2007, somewhere around that time frame. And he's the one that's, they're originally going to do a third film, but he's taking over the project and rebooting it. He's making it much more darker than Guillermo del Toro's original films. And this one's supposedly going for a hard R rating. So it's not going to be PG-13 like the last handful. And I think we got a plot synopsis right here. It's talking about, it pretty much just says the news story sees the hero squaring off against a medieval sorceress who seeks to destroy humankind. Now, it sounds like more inclined with how the comics are with their storylines. However, I recently heard that there was a test screening for this film and it did not go well.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's nothing really to freak out about yet because test screenings are, just for the process of filmmaking. It's just to see how the director and how the production company or studio can see how the audience reacts so they can fix what works and what doesn't work and just kind of like shift the whole thing around. But yeah, what are your thoughts towards this new movie? Do you think it'll stand a chance, or do you think talks of it that it's like the studio's just trying to like put this behind them, or not put this behind them, but more like just try to like rush it out and pay not too much attention to it?
Yeah, the test screenings it is, to hear that it didn't do well is scary, but I still have faith that it will be a good movie. I think, even though we've only seen photos, I think it looks, just from how he looks, like it just gives me faith.
Yeah. Which that's another thing I heard from the test screening is David Harbour is the best part of the movie. He really does apparently a great job with Hellboy.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've never seen the originals.
Oh, no?
Yeah, so I can't compare it to Ron Perlman or anything. But I'm definitely going to check this out because I love David Harbour.
Yeah, dude, the beast.
But, yeah, it is something that's definitely worrisome, but I have faith that the movie will do well.
Yeah, most definitely. Because, like I said, test screenings are just kind of there to just help fix the movie, not really to present it to the final cut.
Yeah.
Another thing I actually heard also didn't do so well at a test screening, which is weird because I didn't even know this was happening. The Grudge reboot.
Oh, is that a thing?
It's a thing. Apparently, I had no idea this was in the works, but apparently the movie is coming out sometime in 2019. I don't remember hearing an announcement on this remake at all, but apparently this one is very different from the originals. I know you haven't seen them, but the originals took place in Japan, and now even the American remake took place in Japan, and now this one is taking place in the US. And it follows 3 different stories that I'm not sure if they connect or not, but people were also saying about that one that the plot lines and the stories just didn't mesh well. It felt very convoluted and messy, and a lot of it didn't make sense or wrap up properly. Like, people still didn't have any answers to the questions that were being thrown at them.
Okay.
More on that as soon as we get more word on that film, if we ever do, because like I said, I had no idea this thing was happening at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But moving on from a Japanese movie to a Japanese video game, I'm just killing it with these transitions, man. I'm telling you. Like, I am a boss.
How long at work did you spend thinking of them?
All day. On to Japanese video games. We are talking about Resident Evil 7, or as, more importantly, the Resident Evil reboot happening that is supposedly inspired by the latest Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Greg Russo, the screenwriter of this Resident Evil reboot, got to sit down and talk about, his process on writing the film for the studio and rebooting it. Russo said that his involvement on the project has kind of concluded and he's not sure whether they'll really do it or not. but he says the studio was happy with the draft after they gave it to James Wan. So there's still much word on that, but he says that it was a lot of fun to write and that one of his main influences was Resident Evil 7. As much as he loved the original films, he wanted to bring back the horror into the franchise that the first film kind of did, but not really.
Yeah, definitely. Man, I think Resident Evil 7, it is my favorite Resident Evil game.
By far, man.
And it's...
That honestly might be one of my just favorite video games, like top 5 for sure.
Oh, yeah, in all, like general. Man, it's just such a good story, and it's so... Especially, like, if you haven't played it VR, if you have access to a VR, I highly, highly recommend playing in VR. I beat it in VR, and it makes it so much better. But it's just an incredible story, and the fact that they brought the horror back to Resident Evil is just fantastic.
Yeah.
So to bring it back in the films, especially if this was based off of Resident Evil 7 or if it was inspired by it, I have a feeling it'll be a great movie.
Oh yeah, most definitely. From this guy Greg Russo, he doesn't have any screenplay or screenwriting experience, or he hasn't really worked on a film. If you look his name up on IMDb, he only has upcoming projects. He's currently working on the Mortal Kombat reboot, which is another reboot that James Wan is handling. And he is also working on the sequel to Netflix's Death Note, which I don't know how that movie got a sequel because everybody trashed on it, but apparently it did good enough to warrant one, according to the president of Netflix.
Yeah, I did not hear good things about it.
No. Like I said, I love the original series so much, and this Netflix one, it was definitely disappointing, but I didn't hate it as much as everyone else in the world did. I didn't think it was as bad as everyone thought. It's just a very messy film that does not stay true to its source material, but it actually has some decent directing. Do you think Resident Evil should even be rebooted into a film, or do you think it should turn into like a series on Netflix?
I don't know about a Netflix series. I think a film would be perfect. I mean, the story of Resident Evil 7 it's not a very long game. So transposing it into a film, I think would be perfect. I don't see the horror. Here's my thing. If you're going to do a horror show, you got to be careful. Because as much as I loved Haunting of Hill House, it really lost its scare factor after episode 6.
I totally agree. Especially since the video game kind of does something similar halfway through its story.
Yeah, near the end of Resident Evil 7, it really loses the horror aspect and it turns more into the action Resident Evil that we all know.
Yeah.
So I don't know so much about a show. I think a movie is perfect for that series.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, and we definitely got to like revisit that game sometime soon and try to do a review or a playthrough of it at some point because I was just playing a bit of it the other day and it's still so much fun.
I haven't played it in months.
Oh, try Madhouse mode. That is so fun.
I don't know. I don't like when games are hard.
Oh, but it's so fun. I just just quick briefly. I like how it changes up the game for you and it adds enemies in places you don't expect. You sometimes get some weapons earlier than others and certain segments of the game come quicker than most. And I just like how Madhouse mode isn't a more challenging mode of the game, but it's just a very different one. They change it up a bit. They don't give you the same game exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But still sticking to video games. See what I mean about these transitions? They just keep coming. 20th Century Fox just registered a trademark a couple days ago for something called Alien Blackout, which seems to be a new game that is based in the Alien universe that is currently in development. This is going to be the first game that we're getting since 2014's Alien Isolation. There isn't really any report that Creative Assembly, the original developers of Alien Isolation, are working on a sequel to that game. So this game could probably have nothing to do with that one. It might just be a fresh story. It might just be a fresh story. It might just be another online game that Aliens Colonial Marines tried doing and failed miserably at.
I hope it does continue it because after finishing it, ends kind of open-ended.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I am looking to continue the story because I did enjoy the game. It could get repetitive, but there was something about it that I did enjoy. It's nothing I would go back and play. Like, it was good to play through once. It was difficult to the point where it was just frustrating. Like, it wasn't like this is difficult. Like, I enjoy this challenge. It was just frustrating.
Yeah, the game did really get very frustrating. I never even actually finished it. As soon as it got to the androids, like walking around the ship and just constantly looking for you, that's when I got annoyed and I was like, I'm done. And a video game usually doesn't make me do that. Usually I just push through it until I make it through. But this one, it got under my skin, and not in the scary way, just more in the frustrating way.
Yeah, beating the game, I was hoping for a sequel. So if there isn't, if it's not a continuation, which I feel like most likely it isn't.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go back to that one. I feel like they would have done it a while back.
Hopefully they can learn from the stuff that made Alien Isolation a problem, and they can fix from that. So, whether it's a sequel or not, it is something I will pick up.
Yeah. Well, there's also rumors that this game is going to be shown off at the Game Show Awards this year, which is, I think, early December. So once that happens, we'll probably get more information on that upcoming game. And still sticking to the video game horror talk, we just have a little bit of smaller news for video games. It's the Mandy 8-bit video game, which is currently in development by a small game developer. Now, the game developer's name is Abel Alves. He is the one behind the 8-bit style of the game, and it's currently a work in progress. He released an image on Twitter to Panos Cosmatos and Elijah Wood, the director and producer of the film, showing them that he is working on the game.
Elijah Wood directed that movie?
No, he produced it through his production company.
I didn't even know he had a fucking production company.
Nobody does. He started this production. I remember hearing it. He started this production company years ago. And so far, this is the only movie I know that has been under it. There probably are plenty more that I have seen that I don't know, but this is the biggest one for sure.
What the that's so fucking random.
If you kind of know how Elijah Wood is, like, it's not too far off. He's definitely he's a super big horror buff. Okay. Did you ever see that movie he did, Maniac?
Is that the POV one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had me watch it.
Oh, that's right. I did force you to watch it. I think I tied you down and I'm like, you're watching this. And you're like, Brandon, please.
I agreed the first time you said it.
I'm like, yeah, I know you did. This is just for me. But yeah, if you enjoyed the film, then this game seems like right up your alley. I'm probably going to check out the game, even though I didn't enjoy the film so much.
I'll let you tell me how it is.
Yeah. I'll be like, give it a shot. You might like this more than the movie.
I know for a fact I would.
Oh, no, most definitely. It won't be 2 hours long.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't see this game being, I mean, if he can find a way to do it, cool. I don't see it being longer than 20 minutes of gameplay. Because the actual action part of the film is the last 40 minutes of it. Essentially, yeah. I feel like even in those 40 minutes, a lot of it is just long fight scenes. He doesn't kill that many people.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure this guy will take liberties and just do his own thing, adding more villains or whatever. Yeah. And then the cult members will be boss stages or something like that. But I don't know. It seems cool. I would definitely love to play as Nicolas Cage slicing up some biker gang demons to save my wife.
I mean, you wouldn't be saving her. She's dead.
Avenging her, whatever. It's my fantasy, man. Let me have it.
I'm only going to play the game if to refill my health, I get to run into a bathroom and drink a bottle of vodka and cry. I
kind of hope that's how the video game opens. Just dude in his underwear, drinking, screaming in a high-pitched 8-bit voice. I feel
like... Has he released a photo of it?
Yeah, he just released the cover image. I'll put it up on the video so you guys can check it out yourself. But
okay,
yeah,
because I feel like it's gonna be very 8-bit. I feel like it'll be very What's that game? Hotline Miami.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't know. It's probably not as fast paced because
Mm-hmm.
considering the movie is slow as fuck. So probably doubt it. But it seems like old school. It seems like it's gonna have like that Pokemon style with the violence of Evil Dead, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that sounds way more fun than the movie.
Oh yeah.
And also, again, for all the haters, this is our opinion. We just didn't like the movie. If you did, then that's awesome. I'm glad you loved it. I didn't.
Yeah. It just wasn't. I mean,
Just not
if
our
you
thing.
like, yeah, no problem. They're films that I like that other people don't. I'm not going around being like, wow, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, however, there are movies I like, and you look at me and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like Detention.
That's a shitty fucking movie.
If you guys have not seen Detention with Josh Hutcherson, please check it out. Don't listen to Jerry.
It's such a random fucking movie. The entire time you're like, oh, this serial killer, I'm about to spoil it for everybody.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't.
It's such a random fucking movie.
Yeah, without saying much spoilers, you're going to think you know what's going on, and then halfway through, you're going to realize, oh shit, I took acid.
Yeah, honestly, that's literally what the fuck that movie is.
That's how that movie sets out to make you feel, and it works. Honestly, it works better than Mandy.
It does. It is a better film than Mandy.
Yeah, if I wanted a movie to make me feel like I was on drugs, I will put that on over Mandy any day.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check that out. Moving on to our next story, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Twilight Zone reboot that Jordan Peele is working on over at CBS. Apparently, Jacob Tremblay and Riz Ahmed are both rumored to appear in an episode of this upcoming reboot. Riz Ahmed, you may know him from the recent Venom movie. He plays the villain, and he was also in Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal, which he was amazing in Nightcrawler, not so great in Venom, but that's the movie's fault, not him. And Jacob Tremblay, he has been blown up as of lately. He was recently in the movie Wonder, and he was also in Before I Wake, a Mike Flanagan film on Netflix. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this casting and this upcoming reboot?
I mean, there isn't much to say about the casting. Right. It's a TV show. There will be multiple episodes, and if it follows the Twilight Zone, feel, if it is the Twilight Zone, each episode is a different story. So there isn't really much to say. It really depends on the writing. If it's Jordan Peele, then I have faith that it will be a good show. But
honestly, I'm not really worried about Jordan Peele's ability to do this show justice. I'm more worried about CBS.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, because CBS is known for kind of canning shows pretty quick.
Yeah, that's kind of my worry.
Yeah.
I also think it's too family friendly of a. I mean, the original Twilight Zone wasn't anything like, insane where, it was like, oh, rated R. But I feel like he could make it a bit more mature than it was.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like nowadays with like how horror is, especially on TV, you can get away with a lot more and push way more boundaries.
Oh, 100%. And I feel like he won't be able to do that with CBS.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of curious. I guess maybe, I don't know, we'll see, because anthology series are kind of being the thing now that's in. Like with, Black Mirror and Hulu's recent Into the Dark and other popular TV series. It's kind of in right now. So I think CBS is trying to hop on that train. I just hope they're not doing it for just the cash grab. I actually really hope they do see something in this reboot and think it'll actually do well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Supposedly, also, Jordan Peele is going to be taking over Rob Serling's role, where he's going to be the announcer, like, before every episode, talking about what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to see him pulling that off without me thinking of Key and Peele, the sketch comedy show. Like, I feel like I'm going to be ready for him to, like, do a skit and, like, Keegan-Michael Key pops out of nowhere.
Man, you know what? I haven't even seen Get Out yet, which I really have to.
Oh, my God, dude.
But I feel like I've seen interviews with him, and he's such an intellectual guy.
He really is, man.
I when I see him, I don't even think Key and Peele anymore. I completely forget that was his thing. Like, he's such a smart guy that just that one movie, and I haven't even seen it. I've just seen interviews where he talks about it. He's grown to me. Like, he's no longer like the comedic person. I look at him as a serious screenwriter and filmmaker now.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think he's trying to shed that image off a bit too. He wants to show everyone like, hey, I can do other stuff. I'm not just the funny guy. I can totally pull horror off. Which, you know what? It's, I guess, another side convo. Like, this whole thing with comedians taking on more serious projects is kind of starting to be a trend, but for good reason, because it's slowly being revealed that comedians are just the best at telling the most dramatic and horrifying stories and bringing those to life.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen I don't even remember what the movie is called. Kevin Hart's movie with Bryan Cranston.
Oh yeah, the Untouchables.
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know that's the original film that is based off of is a French one called The Untouchables. I don't know if that one's the same name or not.
Dude, it looks so good. It's his first serious role, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I think he did a little bit of a serious role in this one small movie. I think it was called Life.
I think he said it was his first serious role.
It was probably like his first super serious role, because I know he did one that was like a comedy drama, but he was barely in it. So I think this is his first time leading a dramatic project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but even with Bryan Cranston, like, he started off in Malcolm in the Middle as Goofy Hal, and then he turned to Walter White, who was not goofy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have even John Krasinski coming from The Office. He wrote and directed and starred in A Quiet Place.
Mm-hmm.
And then now
Bo Burnham. You know, he wrote 8th Grade, which I've heard is an amazing film. I have to go see.
Unfortunately, I missed that in theaters. I tried so hard to catch it, and I just couldn't.
It's on something. I think it's online.
Oh, if it's like on Vudu or whatever, I'll definitely rent that shit.
Yeah.
And
I think it's on iTunes.
Oh, right on. And even what was it, Jonah Hill with Mid-90s, which I unfortunately missed in theaters, but I heard was very good, very different direction for him. Yeah, we got one more story for you guys. It's just a smaller one. It focuses on the chilling adventures of Sabrina and Satanic Temple lawsuit that was going on for $50 million. They were suing.
Holy shit.
Yeah, $50 million is insane. And they were just...
What are they going to do with that?
No. Buy more robes, I don't know. But yeah, they filed a lawsuit against Netflix and Warner Brothers for the Dark Lord statue that's in display in the Academy of Unseen Arts in the show, saying that the design was stolen from the temple's statue and they didn't want that misappropriated imagery used. Because
I mean, Oh, go ahead, finish.
Oh no, I'm done. You're good.
Oh, they're Satanists in the show, essentially. Like, I mean, I get it. They're like, oh, it looks bad on us, but in the show, they're Satanists.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also, like, I didn't even know this was similar to their actual statue. So I feel like
it's the exact statue.
It's not the exact. It's just apparently very similar. I haven't seen the image of the original statue, but apparently that's why, because they just don't want their statue to be associated with that. And apparently the settlement and so far we really just know that the Satanic Temple statue will be acknowledged at the credits of the episodes, which have already been filmed. And that's about as much terms as we're getting. Warner Brothers has declined to comment on the settlement at all. So has Netflix. I think this is a pretty ridiculous story. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I felt like American Horror Story ticked them off way more, or they should have ticked them off way more than this one.
I knew the show was going to get some shit. I didn't think it would be this, though.
Yeah, I thought it would be like, oh, it's so dark, our children are watching this, blah, blah, blah. No, It's the Satanic Temple that has a problem with it, not the soccer moms. But yeah, I guess that's good for them. You know, they got that shit out the way. Now they can probably just keep going on about their business and buy all the robes they want. If you're into the Satanic Temple, once again, I apologize, but it's... Oh, actually, you know what? I see an image right here of the statue. And you know what? It does look very similar.
Yeah, it's really close. Like,
yeah, very close.
I had seen the statue. I thought it was the same exact one because I had seen it in something. I saw a news article with the statue, and then I saw it in the show, and I was like, oh, it's just the statue. Yeah, it's just a statue. It's nothing else. It's not like they commented on Satan or anything like that, or I mean, the Satanic Temple.
They're always hailing Satan every chance they get on that show.
Yeah, because again, they are. I mean, they're technically Satanists in the show. Like that's what they base them around.
Oh, we actually also have another bit of Netflix news. There is a new German horror TV series coming out titled Perfume that is arriving on Netflix this December. And the trailer just officially dropped today, actually.
What is it? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, it's pretty much a serial killer. It's based off a novel back in 2006, and it revolves around a serial killer, supposedly. There's a brief little synopsis right here saying, while in boarding school, a group of 6 become friends through the intense passion for scent. When one is brutally murdered years later, disturbing secrets about the group are revealed when the police investigates each as a suspect.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it comes out December 21st. I checked out the trailer a bit earlier. I didn't know it came out today. It looks pretty good, and it's 6 episodes, so I'm pretty sure I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have a little review for that when that comes out, but only time will tell. Well, it looks like that's going to do it for this episode of Horror News Round. We had a bit more to talk about than today, but hopefully within the next couple days or so, we'll get more to talk about. If you like us doing these horror news rounds and you want to see more stuff from us, please just let us know in the comments below or message us on our Instagram at American Werewolves. But that's going to wrap it up for today. Once again, I am Brandon.
I am Jerry.
And this has been
American Werewolves.
Stay spooky.